So here's the 4G69. Just put a new timing belt and balance shaft belt on. They are Gates Racing. Also installed a brand new Gates Racing water pump. Cleaned up the valve cover a bit. That's still dirty. You can see all that nasty shit. Looks like the valve cover was leaking. What else? Just slowly going back together. I'm gonna put the timing belt cover on and all the brackets that came off with it. Alright, so here's the engine off the stand. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this piece off and put that flex plate in and then drop her in. We'll do the rest when the motor's in the car. Okay, so this is ready to go in. I got these torqued to 100 foot-pounds. That should be it. I'm gonna have to jack it up. I'm bottomed out on the A-arm. The hoist is hitting the lower A-arm.
Hello?
Hey!
Hey!
What's up?
How you guys doing?
So this thing is pretty much sitting inside now. Safety wire, the AC pump here. It's almost there. I think I'm gonna hook up these bolts here. This is under tension because of the safety wire. Okay, so I got the engine mount in, and then the transmission bolts in. So it's okay to disconnect this thing now. The engine hoist is off. It's all on its own. I still gotta secure the flex plate bolts. Hook up more stuff, exhaust manifold. I did replace the rear engine mount. You can see it, it's all clean. Unfortunately, look at all that rust on the transmission. That is coming from the heater core, so that'll need replaced. I don't really want to, so I might just loop it and tell him if he wants it changed or not. It's hot in Florida, so you rarely use heat here. So this is what I have done so far. Install the alternator, the AC pump, water pump, power steering pump, and I went ahead and replaced the serpentine belt with a new Gates belt. Started putting in the intake manifold, but I still have to secure it. It's got a new gasket in between. The headers, exhaust manifold, that's in. Then I still have to sort out the wiring, and then the coolant pipe. The coolant pipe out of this car is rusted out. Here's a look under the valve cover, valve train. All these little spark plug hole rubber boots, O-rings, those are all new. Valve cover gasket is also new. I also cleaned this valve cover. That's why it looks like that. It was a little dirtier. So I went ahead and installed the hood, drained the oil. There wasn't much in it. Put some fresh oil, changed the oil filter, and hooked up the battery, minus the negative terminal. I think what I want to do is see if it'll start for like 10 seconds and then shut it off, since I don't have a radiator or any coolant. The reason is because of the water pipe. I don't know if I showed it, but I'll show it again. Alright, so this is the Lancer coolant pipe or inlet pipe, and this is the 08 Mitsubishi Eclipse pipe. It looked the same minus this part here. The Lancer doesn't have this piece, so I'll have to cap that off in order to run this. The dimensions are the same, so that's why I don't have all that hooked up, because I haven't plugged this yet. And I can't use this the reason I can't use this because it's really rusty inside. You can't tell, but I've sandblasted it and it's got a lot of painting inside. The Eclipse one looks in a lot better shape. So same thing with this. This is the Lancer one. You can see it actually looks cleaner because I sandblasted it, but it's got a lot of pitting around. And this is the dirty Eclipse one. Internally it actually looks better than the Lancer one. The Lancer one looks yucky inside, but they look to be the same numbers and everything. All I gotta do is just swap these brackets. Ground terminal is hooked up. Let's see what happens. This light's on. Like I said, I just want to start it for 10 seconds. I don't even know what's gonna happen. Nothing. Oh, there it is. I think I have a bad ground. There it is. Almost. I wonder if the starter has a bad solenoid or something. Come on, baby. Oh, it's got old fuel too. Full tank too. Bam! Nope. It's not going to run either because there's no sensors hooked up either on the coolant side. It probably also won't start because of this not being hooked up. This goes to the coolant, and it is cooler out right now. It's like 50 degrees, maybe 49, 40s, I don't know. Also, this is unhooked. Well, at least I know it'll run once that's hooked up. What better? Alright, so I added some radiator flush cleaner coolant. So far she's not overheating, so that's a good sign. I'll take a better video during the daylight. Alright, so here's the Lancer finished product, 99% that is. I don't know if you can see if it'll focus, but the battery light and the brake light are on. The battery light is, or the battery, I thought the alternator was bad, or the battery's brand new, but the alternator is charging. there's a pin broken on the alternator, but yet it seems to be charging. So that's why that light's on in the brake. I think it's just low on fluid. It's got 162,469 miles. Let's go look at the engine. And here's running 4G69. Running smooth for a junkyard motor. Brand new battery. I put a new radiator cap. Upper and lower radiator hoses. What else? Air filter looked clean, so I left it. The piece that goes there, it's in the trunk. I just want to have the plastic clips. Brand new serpentine belt. There's the coolant temperature rising. I've let it run for a long time to confirm it doesn't overheat. That's good. So that's it for this one.